Welcome back, guys. Today I'm here to show you how to make a King Cobra Paracord survival bracelet. Stay tuned. Well, spring's almost upon us, which means a lot of us are going to be really adventuring out, going on adventures in the woods and all over. And what a better time than to do a quick craft to help you in the woods. So basically I'd like to make a paracord bracelet, I call it my survival paracord bracelet, using the King Cobra braid, which is really great. So it gives you lots of paracord and there'll be lots of interesting things we can add to the bracelet to help us in the woods. So this is a bracelet that I had started, as you saw in my winter camping video. This isn't the King Cobra braid, it's just the regular Cobra braid there, and you commonly see this one. And as you can see, I've added some interesting things to it, some wire, fishing line, a little capsule here to hold some fishing gear, has a paracord, some ranger bands, and as you can see, this is my really interesting buckle that I got online on Amazon. There's a whistle, a compass, and it also has a fire steel and a ferro rod in it. So very interesting little clip. I thought I'd try it out. It works great except for the compass. So I wouldn't recommend, if you see these online, do not rely on the compass part of it. As far as I'm concerned, it's a decoration. So today I'm going to show you how to make one of these survival bracelets, but we're going to use the King Cobra braid just so we end up with a lot of extra paracord. All right, so you can see what I have here. I've got an assortment of buckles for the paracord bracelet. I've got 3 different colors of paracord. You can use 1 or 2 or whatever you'd like. I've also made some ranger bands, and these are rubber bands that are really good for securing gear to your pack, to bracelets, and they're an awesome fire starter as well. So I basically cut these out of bike inner tube. Just show you right here, there's the inner tube, and I just sort of cut it up into little half-inch pieces there. This bike inner tube is 1/8 by 1 1/4 inches. So yeah, very, very handy, inexpensive, and you get tons of these little ranger bands. So we'll be using those on the bracelet. Here we have one of those little tiny, you know, easy little storage containers here. I got these on Amazon really cheaply. So when you unscrew them and open them up, you can store lots of goodies inside. So I've got one of those. I've got some tape, some band-aids to put in my kit, a lighter, some wire that I'll be putting on the bracelet, fishing line and a hook, marker, a couple of lead weights, or actually they're steel weights now, and some scissors, and of course something to measure my bracelet with. So that's just a bit of seamstress tape. So first off, you're going to want to measure your wrist, and I'm using this seamstress tape here, measuring tape. So basically you're going to kind of measure the circumference of your wrist. And mine is small. It's actually about 6 inches. So we're gonna keep that in mind. So you wanna measure your wrist and write that down. I'm gonna pick I have different buckles here to choose from for closures. So I've got sort of a small buckle that I'd use for kind of a small paracord or a kid's bracelet. I have the standard clasp here, and that one, both of those ones I actually got at Walmart. So it's a bit of a smaller clasp. The bracelet I'm going to make today will use a survival clasp here with the whistle, the compass, and the ferro rod and steel. So to the measurement of your wrist, you're actually going to want to measure, the length of the clasp that you're going to use. So this one you can see here, from the edge of the cord to the edge of this cord is about a little over 2 1/4 inches. So basically that brings my measurement to 8 1/4 inches for the complete circumference, including the paracord braided bracelet and the clasp. So keep that in mind. How much paracord do you need for this project? Well, basically a guideline is when you measure the circumference of your wrist, so for example, I'm 6 inches, you're gonna need 1 foot of paracord per each inch of your wrist, obviously not including the clasp. So I'm gonna be doing a 3-colored King Cobra bracelet. So for the main bracelet, like the one I kind of made here, we're gonna need 6 feet of paracord. Now I'm going to be doing 2 colors of paracord, so the black and the orange for the main bracelet. So I'm going to use 3 feet of the black and 3 feet of the orange paracord. If I was just, for example, making it out of black paracord or straight out of orange paracord, so one color basically would be 6 feet, 6 inches of circumference on my wrist, 6 feet of paracord. If you're doing 2 colors, 3 feet of each. For the braid on the outside of the bracelet, I'm going to use 1 color, and it's going to be this camo green and tan color. And that one, because it's going to be 1 color, I'm going to use 6 feet. So basically, this bracelet is going to be all total 3 colors, the main bracelet, orange and black, 3 feet of each, and then the braid on top, which will make it the King Cobra bracelet pattern. I'll need 6 feet of the camo. So again, if your wrist itself is like 8 inches, 8 feet of paracord, and then you can divide that between 2 colors, then you'll need 8 feet for the King Cobra part to finish up the braiding. The next step is to finish the ends of your paracord. So we've cut our lengths now. You can see the end is kind of frayed and it's plasticky. So basically what you want to do is you can trim off any excess cord that's sticking out here with your scissors. And then what you're going to do is just burn the edge like that. It's going to melt, and then you can sort of tap it against the edge of your lighter there. It's extremely hot, be really, really careful. So you want to do that to all ends of your paracord. The next step is to select your buckle, and here's the, the survival buckle. And what you want to do is basically keep the buckle sort of with the curved side up, so that's the part that's going to go against your wrist. And you're going to want to put the 2 paracord for the main bracelet through the little hole here in the clasp. So there it is. Now what we're going to do is fold it over, I'd say about 1 inch, and we'll use some tape to secure it in place. And then we're going to stick the other part of the clasp also in a similar fashion onto the rest of the paracord, again with the curved side up. And I'll show you what I mean when we're all done. All right, so I've got it, this is a temporary tape job up here at the top to hold it in place. And as you see, when they go together like that, they should clip in that orientation. And of course, this is where your hand's gonna go. Now we're gonna wanna use the measurements that we wrote down before to measure the proper length of the bracelet before we braid. So I measured my wrist earlier at 6 inches. I want the entire length of the paracord to be 6 inches. So what we'll do is we'll measure that and mark it off with a Sharpie. So there you can see my mark there is exactly 6 inches from this part right here right down to just where the clip starts. That's 6 inches. So that is going to be the length of the braid. Now you remember that my clasp was about 2 1/4 inches additional when it was clipped together. So the complete circumference of the bracelet is going to be 8 1/4 inches. At this point, if you want to do a test fit of the bracelet according to your measurements, you can do that. So you can just sort of pop it around your wrist, clip it on. So what I've done here is I just kind of clipped it on and done a test fit, and it looks good. Remember, it'll be thick once the braid's on there, so this actually is going to be a great fit. 6 inches of braid for me, and then basically the 2 1/4 inches of the buckle. You'll do your own measurements for your bracelet. Now what we'll do is we'll tape the bracelet down to our work surface and we'll begin the braid. Some people actually have jigs to help hold the paracord project while you're working. I just use some clear tape to tape it to the table so it doesn't wiggle around while I'm doing the braid. So here's the left and here's the right side of the bracelet. I'm staring at the bracelet exactly how you would make it. So basically what we want to do is bring the orange cord this way underneath the bracelet, and we're going to bring the cord up and into the orange loop. So what we're going to do then is you're going to be making a knot, as you can see, a knot over the main part of the bracelet here. So then what you want to do is just snug everything up to the buckle. There you go, and that's your first knot of the bracelet. Then we're just going to be going back and forth, knotting all the way down. You really get a muscle memory for this as you keep going. So again, we're going to go under with the orange, and the black's going to go around and in the hole. And there's your second knot. And then again, go under. And then the black's gonna go down the hole. So how you're doing this is the orange is gonna be on the outside and the black will be on the inside. And you just keep going like that. So I'm just getting down to the end here, and I'm getting kind of down to the wire with my paracord. So you might want to, forgot to give myself some extra leniency here. So what you need to do is take off this tape now. So we're just temporarily holding it in place. Just down to literally the last 2 knots here. A little bit tricky to hang on to it, but here we go. There we go. I basically got just a little bit left here, as you can see, but that's perfect. I just got 1 more knot to do. Actually, I could probably just squeak 1 more in there. Why not? Use up all the paracord, and I don't have too much wasted there. But like I said, if you're a little bit nervous about having a bit of a shortage, then you can always add extra foot to your calculation per color, you know, if you're doing a 2-colored bracelet. But this is plenty. So that's what's left over, and that's what the bracelet looks right now. So that took me no time at all to do that. So next, what I like to do is I'm just going to cut off my 2 colors here, and I'm going to burn the edges to hold them in place. So what I'm going to do is just, again, use my lighter. Be really, really careful. You want to burn a really good part of your bracelet. So just do that, and then again, I kind of flatten it out a bit so it cannot escape and slip through. So really sort of smush it down. Just going to do this side as well. And then we'll just kind of do that. Great. So now that the bracelet is completed, the very first part of it, we're going to make it the complete King Cobra paracord bracelet by doing another braid over top of the bracelet. And then what we're going to do is add our extras, like our ranger bands, our little capsule, and things like that, to make it interesting and useful for us when we're in the woods. So for this part, you're going to take your 6 feet of paracord that you've already measured earlier and burnt the ends. You're going to want to find the center of it, so you're going to kind of line up the 2 cut ends, stretch it out, and this is the center point right here, and you can kind of mark that again with a little Sharpie so you don't lose it. Next, we're going to start the braid on the bracelet. All right, so I'm going to tape it back down to the table again. Just like that. And we've marked off the center part of the additional paracord. So I'm going to line that up right now on the bracelet. So let's sneak this underneath here. All right, so I've got my middle part marked off. So now I've got 2 equal ends. So I'm going to leave it like so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cross this cord over the right side of the paracord. And this is going to go over the bracelet and into that loop. Okay, and then again, look, we're just tying a knot. We're just going to go over the original knot. So we're just going to tighten that right up. And then we're going to go from this side and go through the hole. Just like that, and you can see it's starting to form a knot over top. You just work side to side and get into the habit of it. Again, you're going to go under, the left one's going to go underneath the bracelet and over the right side of the paracord, and this paracord is going to go down and through the hole it's created by that loop, and you're going to tighten it up. That's starting to look really cool. And then again, we're going to go from the right side, we're going to go under, and then the left side is going to go through the loop. And we're going to go, you got to make sure you kind of snug this up a little bit. There we go. And just keep doing that down the bracelet. You could use a thinner paracord for the top if you wanted, not to make it so bulky. It's totally your call. All right, so I'm right at the end here. I'm just going to finish up the last knot or so. Probably squeak one more in there. All right, that's going to do it. So now what we do is we cut off the ends like we did before and burn the ends. Well, I really like how that turned out. The braiding went really well. Now we're going to add our extras to the bracelet, and today, you know, I've got these little ranger bands that I cut out from the bicycle tire, and they'll be used to hold on one of the little capsules that I bought online on Amazon. So these are little aluminum capsules. I got a pack of 10, multiple different colors. You can even get smaller ones as well. What we can fit in here, I mean, lots of different ideas. Get creative, you know, got hook, fishing line, band-aid, some split shot. Lots of different things you can put in there. You know, if you had some medication you had to bring with you during the day, you could probably pop it in here as well. The little aluminum containers here are waterproof, so that comes in really handy. Also, if you want to bring a little bit of wire to wind up or a little bit of extra fishing line, those can also be clamped down with the Ranger bands to the bracelet. And here it is, all finished up. I think it turned out really, really well, and it fits just fine. So, you know, with this bracelet, it's got lots there for you. You know, we're looking at, with this bracelet, we're looking basically at 12 feet of paracord. And that's, you know, there's 1,000 uses for rope, and, you know, when you're out in the bush and, you know, doing lots of stuff. So excellent to have that. I've taken apart many a bracelet to use them while, you know, on a trip. So not a bad idea to make up a few. Also, you know, we've got your Ranger bands on here securing your gear. There's some, you know, wire on here you can use for snaring or, you know, fixing something, fishing line. The Ranger bands themselves are excellent tinder fire starter. They're rubber, so they light up and they stay lit for a while you're trying to get your fire started. Got the capsule here with a band-aid, a couple little weights for fishing, little sinkers, and a fishing hook and a little bit of line in here as well. So the other cool thing about this bracelet is you have this clasp if you want to get it online on Amazon. Basically, you know, you got your little compass, which I wouldn't trust it, to be honest with you. It's more decorative, but the whistle works really, really well. And also you have your fire steel here that you can basically strike like that, and you can see the sparks that you're getting there. So isn't that cool? So that's all in this bracelet. Be creative as you want. Put whatever you want in here. You know your scenario, you know where you're gonna end up, what you're gonna need. It's just excellent to kind of have a fun little project like this, and you can tailor it to your specific needs. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video today, and you have another craft before you know, camping season starts. And I hope you guys have a great week. Take care.